Welcome to the Golden Seams, where we, Gabe and Michae, your hosts, invite you to join us on a transformative journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Our podcast is all about helping you uncover your authentic self, find your true calling, and create prosperity in alignment with your deepest values and aspirations.
We're embarking on the realm of self-love and self-worth, guided by the illuminating wisdom of Brené Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection. Prepare to challenge societal expectations and embrace your authentic self as we delve into this groundbreaking work that has touched millions of lives worldwide. Through Brown's expertise for wholehearted living, we'll discover together how to let go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we truly are. Guidepost 3. Cultivating a resilient spirit, letting go of numbing and powerlessness. She could never go back and make some of the details pretty. All she could do was move forward and make the whole beautiful. This is a quote from Terry St. Cloud from bonsaiarts.com. Today we're going to be talking about resilience with Brené Brown, the ability to overcome adversity. Brené brings us to these protective factors, the things that we do, have, and practice that give us the bounce.
Brené asks, what makes up resilience? She shares the 5 most common factors of resilient people. 1. They are resourceful and have good problem-solving skills. 2. They are more likely to seek help. 3. They hold the belief that they can do something that will help them to manage their feelings and to cope. 4. They have social support available to them. And 5. They are connected with others, such as family or friends.
So Brené says that when she was doing her research, there was something more to what I was hearing. The stories had more in common than just resilience. All of these stories were about spirit. According to the people I interviewed, the very foundation of the protective factors, the things that made them bouncy, was their spirituality. By spirituality, I'm not talking about religion or theology, but I am talking about a shared and deeply held belief based on the interviews. Here's how I define spirituality. Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Practicing spirituality brings a sense of perspective, meaning, and purpose to our lives.
Brené continues, without exception, spirituality, the belief in connection, a power greater than self, and interconnections grounded in love and compassion, emerged as a component of resilience. Most people spoke of God, but not everyone. From this foundation of spirituality, 3 other significant patterns emerged as being essential to resilience. 1. Cultivating hope. 2. Practicing critical awareness. And 3. Letting go of numbing and taking the edge off vulnerability, discomfort, and pain.
Brené goes on to discuss hope and powerlessness. She says, as a researcher, I can't think of 2 words that are more misunderstood than the words hope and power. She goes on to talk about the work of C.R. Snyder, a former researcher at the University of Kansas Lawrence. And she says that hope is not an emotion. It's a way of thinking or a cognitive process. Emotions play a supportive role, but hope is really a thought process made of what Snyder calls a trilogy of goals, pathways, and agency. She said in very simple terms, hope happens when we have the ability to set realistic goals, as in I know where I want to go. We are able to figure out how to achieve those goals, including the ability to stay flexible and develop alternative routes, such as I know how to get there, I'm persistent, and I can tolerate disappointment and try again. And lastly, we believe in ourselves. I can do this. So goal, pathway, agency. Brené says hope is a combination of setting goals, having the tenacity and perseverance to pursue them, and believing in our own abilities.
Brené tells us hope is learned. Snyder suggests that we learn hopeful goal-directed thinking in the context of other people. Children most often learn hope from their parents. Snyder says that to learn hopefulness, children need relationships that are characterized by boundaries, consistency, and support. It's not a crapshoot, it's a conscious choice.
So it's really about human connection interaction and observance. And literally, people do not learn when you tell them, which is ironic because here we are on this podcast discussing all of this and telling people about it. But they do learn through observance, especially, and any parent will tell you how many times they've told their kid not to do something, but then if their kid saw them do something, their kid mimicked what they saw or that behavior they saw. And then when your kids become adults, that's when you really get the huge mirror of who you are through your child, through your behaviors, your actions, because that is the thing that it seems to be amplified in the children. And I'm speaking from experience, but also I have multitude of friends and clients that will say the same thing.
It's interesting because it seems like a lot of belief is some amalgamation of experience.
Yes.
Just a complete, almost like blob of experiences. Like, because belief is hard to define outside of a religious context or faith, right? You kind of have, at least for me, I think I have to be vague to not reduce it to something it's not. And then even then, it's not always consciously tangible to myself until I kind of do the work to analyze it, because it is just this constant addition of experience that is formulating my belief. So like if I'm not careful, it becomes something I'm unaware of.
Completely.
Brené says participants who self-report as hopeful put considerable value on persistence and hard work. The new cultural belief that everything should be fun, fast, and easy is inconsistent with hopeful thinking. It also sets up for hopelessness. When we experience something that is difficult and requires significant time and effort, we are quick to think, this is supposed to be easy. It's not worth the effort. Or, this should be easier. It's only hard and slow because I'm not good at it. Hopeful self-talk sounds more like, this is tough, but I can do it.
This reminds me so much of just the difference in a mindset between Olympic athletes and somebody who's just starting out a workout program or something else and you just want to quit. It's definitely not as easy, and they make it look very easy, but it's the amount of diligence and practice and perseverance and resilience that they put into it that makes that grace.
I think the most we can see, even with them, is the tip of the iceberg that they stand on. There's this whole underneath, and we have no idea, right? What
Yes.
it takes, the discipline.
Oh, that's so true. It's so true. It's such a phenomenal amount of discipline. That's why it's so incredible to watch, I think.
I agree. Elevate your journey of self-discovery and personal growth with our exclusive Patreon offerings at the Golden Seams. Our carefully crafted content includes powerful tools designed to support you on your path to wholehearted living. Immerse yourself in our transformative deep meditation and subliminal audio sessions, infused with Solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats to naturally integrate and foster authentic living. Complement your practice with our custom-designed mandala, a visual manifestation tool to reinforce your intentions. All of our offerings are Reiki infused by Michae, a Reiki master, providing an extra layer of energetic support. This synergistic combination of audios and visual aids works with your subconscious mind to accelerate growth, amplify manifestation abilities, and effortlessly integrate self-love and wholehearted living into every aspect of your life. Join us on Patreon to unlock these powerful resources and step into your true, magnificent self. Brené goes on to say, for those of us who have the tendency to believe that everything worthwhile should involve pain and suffering, like yours truly, I've also learned that never fun, fast, and easy is as detrimental to hope as always fun, fast, and easy. Before this research, I believed that unless blood, sweat, and tears were involved, it must not be that important. I was wrong. Again. We develop a hopeful mindset when we understand that some worthy endeavors will be difficult and time-consuming and not enjoyable at all. Hope also requires us to understand that just because the process of reaching a goal happens to be fun, fast, and easy, doesn't mean that it has less value than a difficult goal. If we want to cultivate hopefulness, we have to be willing to be flexible and demonstrate perseverance. Not every goal will look and feel the same. Tolerance for disappointment, determination, and a belief in self are the heart of hope. When I read this, I kept rereading the part where she said that never fun, fast, and easy is as detrimental to hope as always fun, fast, and easy. Thinking about how oftentimes opposites, or more like polar opposites, can be more alike than they seem when you're not standing at the extreme. Like from the middle point, they're just as far off center or off the mark.
Truthfully, energetically, when we focus on those extremes, so when we do anything, if you think of that pendulum going back and forth energetically, if you go to any extreme, either to one side or to the other, you are attracting the opposite. So you are attracting this extreme other energy that you may not want, because they're literally, if you think of the vibrational wave, right?
Yeah.
They're peaking at different points. So they will attract that.
It seems like they are in a dance almost. Like you said, pendulum. If you pull a pendulum towards you, the next thing that happens is it swings away.
Yes.
Just as far. And if you push it away, it's going to come right back at you.
Yes.
So this idea of aiming for balance,
Yes.
I think is a powerful one.
Yeah, completely agree. I also want to talk about here this idea of pain and suffering to achieve, or sacrifice, or needing to work hard for something, when really everything starts within us. It starts within our minds, it starts within ourselves. It's when we start looking outside of ourselves that we lose our power. So look outside of yourself for inspiration for what you want. But that real power to make the thing happen that you want in your life, whether it's good relationships or more money or whatever it is, that's going to come from within first. It has to start there. And so any belief about pain and suffering to achieve, or hard work, or anything that goes against that, is going to make it that much more outside of yourself.
And I believe it can almost create a holding pattern of restricted energy access, because you're used to having, because if you're suffering, there implies a recovery time or a healing process. If
Yes.
you're going to be at any point balanced. And then that's already a deviation or diversion of the energy.
Completely. And it's such a form of self-sabotage. And the way to shut that down is to just stop looking outside of yourself. The only thing outside of yourself in the third dimension should be looked at to inspire you. And then you take that, you hold that within, and you think about, what can the universe offer me in relation to that for me? Because whatever specifically for you is so custom for you, it's perfect for you.
It makes it, I love that idea that the solutions, right, are found within. It almost protects us from, there are people who benefit from having our attention and our energies. So when we focus and trust and learn to cultivate the inward solutions, I think that, like you said, they're probably more aligned with the universe and its intentions for us.
It's true. And even when you're looking at something, if it feels hard, all you have to do is step back and be curious and go, does it have to be hard? And then step back, take a breath, step away, go do something else for a minute, and then see if the answer comes, and it usually will. Or the feeling of peace may come of, oh, well, it's actually not hard. So if you allow that space, it will shift. Brené goes on to say that she's become increasingly concerned that we're raising children who have little tolerance for disappointment, and that some, who come from various forms of privilege, including race and class, have a strong sense of entitlement. Entitlement is very different than agency. Brené says entitlement is, I deserve this just because I want it. And agency is, I know I can do this. The combination of fear of disappointment, entitlement, and performance pressure is a recipe for hopelessness and self-doubt. Hopelessness is dangerous because it leads to feelings of powerlessness. So unlike the word hope, we often think of power as negative. It's not. The best definition of power comes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He described power as the ability to achieve our purpose and to effect change. If we question our need for power, think about this. How do you feel when you believe that you are powerless to change something in your life? Let that sink in.
When I read the part that entitlement is I deserve this just because I want it, I started imagining what kind of experiences a person might be having, or what kind of a life where they've been enabled and encouraged to always seek what they want, and how many ways this might be taking precedence over what they need.
Wow.
And that makes me think too about how earlier we were talking about how hope and beliefs are formed by experience and hope is learned. So I'm imagining entitlement is learned by the same mechanisms as hope, and that you can't learn both at the same time, perhaps. Because entitlement is not allowing space for existence to be and for the merits of your efforts to be rewarded. It's more of an expectation. Like hope seems to want to develop and grow to achieve, and entitlement comes with an expectation and disappointment right off the bat.
Exactly. She says that powerlessness is dangerous. For most of us, the inability to effect change is a desperate feeling. We need resilience and hope, and a spirit that can carry us through the doubt and fear. We need to believe that we can effect change if we want to live and love with our whole hearts. I think it's such a critical piece here. Hope gives you what you need to carry on. It allows you to have that resilience. If we allow in that powerlessness, it's almost as if it amplifies the doubt and the fear and that inability to believe that you can affect change in your life for the things you want to create the world and the life that you want.
Absolutely. Brené continues with practicing critical awareness. Practicing critical awareness is about reality checking the messages and expectations that drive the never good enough gremlins. We are bombarded with messages and expectations about every aspect of our lives. It's in our biology to trust what we see with our eyes. If we want to cultivate a resilient spirit and stop falling prey to comparing our ordinary lives with manufactured images, we need to know how to reality check what we see. We need to be able to ask and answer these questions. 1. Is what I'm seeing real? Do these images convey real life or fantasy? 2. Do these images reflect healthy, wholehearted living? Or do they turn my life, my body, my family, and my relationships into objects and commodities? 3. Who benefits by me seeing these images and feeling bad about myself? Hint, this is always about money and or control.
That is so powerful. When I think of, is what I'm seeing real? Do these images convey real life or fantasy? Just the myth of the Prince Charming or the fantasy partner, that myth is just the first thing that comes to my mind. But then if you start attributing it to yourself that you have to become the other half of that fantasy partner, that myth, or that's who you have to be to have that too, there's always the other side. Ugh.
It feels like spell casting.
Yes.
Some kind of spell casting, and then the only person not left in the equation at the end is you.
Completely. It is, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not enough.
And then that belief makes us let the outside go in.
Yeah. That's where we start looking outside. We start completely looking outside instead of looking within, when really everything is within us. That's where we start.
Yeah.
And we simply use the outside as a contrast. That's the significant difference there. I think it's also fascinating how she says this is always about money and control. Who benefits from my seeing these images and feeling bad about myself? And that is the critical thing right there. What does somebody else gain or something else gain at your expense? And this is basically you're putting your self-worth on the table and letting somebody chop it up and hand it back to you in scraps and pieces. And it's so not worth it.
And they're putting a price tag on the scraps and pieces.
Yeah.
with planned obsolescence, and you have to get the new one each season and the new color if you want to
Oh
be
my gosh.
welcome and accepted.
I used to think it was worse for women, but now when I see all the things that are additionally put on men in marketing and everything and just the expectations, it just shocks me. It's the same thing, they just remarketed it for males now.
And I think there's a huge market for male fragility. It's incredible how our insecurities are like our biggest buttons and levers, and they know how to make money off it by pushing and pulling, and getting us to do exactly what they want.
It's completely true. We're truly grateful for your presence and participation in this journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Remember, your path to authenticity and prosperity is unique, and we're honored to be a part of it. If you found value in today's episode, we invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. Until next time, embrace your imperfections and let them be your greatest gifts.
This is Gabe and Michae signing off from the Golden Seams. May you discover the courage to be vulnerable, the compassion to love yourself, and the wisdom to live wholeheartedly. May your path be golden as you find the strength to mend and beautify the broken parts of your life, weaving golden threads through the fabric of your authentic self, just like the art of kintsugi. We'll see you in our next episode.